and many more. He's an active faculty of the medical wing of Brahma Kumaris since 2010 and has been also actively deeply working on de-addiction camps. A holder of various diplomas and degrees, Manoj practices applying his learnings ongoingly, medically and spiritually. One of his core programs is seven color meditation, which he is exhaustively conducted and is conducting across the world. His core strength, what I have experienced, is the simplicity with which he can go to the core of any subject that he lays his hands on. He's an ever ready child of Baba who's ever available for service. So he shall continue with the same topic, that is reflection, inspection, and action, which is checking, correcting, and changing your default sanskars into spiritual awareness and awakening. So, Manoj welcome and over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Vimish Bhai. So before I begin, I just need to confirm whether I need to on the video or it's fine like that.
Yes, it would be nice if you can put on the video.
Okay, fine. So it's only me who's putting it on. I would expect
Yes, only.
others as well. Okay, fine, no worries. Right. Okay, so thank you so much for this invitation to share something about today's RIA, reflection, inspection, and even action. So I think this forms the core of how to develop spiritual strength. Only if we are able to do these three processes, particularly the first two, and the reflection and the inspection, then can we excel on our path and achieve what we want to achieve from our spiritual life. Because sometimes we feel that, or many people feel, I don't know what you all feel, but even I used to feel before, but what do I feel? I'll tell you that first. That spiritual life is something different from your professional life. Not at all. On the contrary, if you are spiritually strong, you can really excel in your professional life. And it's from personal experience when I'm saying that. So let me just come to the topic. I'll not be going in too much details of theory of what reflection is, what inspection is, but I'll also be sharing a few examples from my personal life because I think personal experiences always make a difference. I'm sure all of you agree on that. So when we say the word reflection, we need to understand what is the meaning of reflection. So if I can say that if you're looking at a lake or a pond of water, you can see that something beneath you can only be seeing, be able to see from the surface only if the water is still. So I think for reflection, we need to have these four S's we need to work on, 4S. It just suddenly reminded me of these 4S. The first is stillness. Unless and until your mind is still, you can't be seeing what is there in the depth. Followed by that, along with stillness, there is silence. The next S, I must say, silence. And that's our prime teaching here in Brahma Kumaris. We greet each other with, excuse me, which each other with what is called Om Shanti, which means actually something much more than silence. It is peace. I am a peaceful being. So you have to be still, you have to be silent. Third, I must say, you have to practice solitude. And it's a beautiful word in Hindi for solitude, what we call ekantwas. I mean, there are many words in Hindi which Baba speaks about in the Murlis, and English translation is there, but it's not really the exact translation, which I feel sometimes. And you all know when we revise Murlis, I always want to make sure that when we read the English Murli, you know the Hindi word for it as well. So Ekantwas has a beautiful meaning actually. ekant. Hindi means, if I say in Hindi, ekant mein rehna, just be by myself. No. Ek ke ant mein jana. That's what Baba means. That it's only me and me that you should be going into the depths of. That means the depths of remembrance, the depths of yoga, whatever you want to call it. So that solitude is very important to develop. And unless and until we have solitude, we can't really reflect, I feel. And there's a difference between these two words, solitude and being lonely. There's a whole lot of difference between the two. So obviously it's not loneliness. Many people are commenting in the chat box. Yes, Puneet Bhai is saying that. Yeah, loneliness is actually a very negative word, I must say. Whereas solitude is a highly, not even positive, it's a highly elevated word. So that is the third thing which we have to practice, solitude. And the fourth S, which I must say, is stability. So, these four S's are essential for us to reflect. I'll just repeat, it is stillness, it is silence, it's solitude, and it is stability. Now, what is exactly the meaning of reflection? So I remember when we conduct our exercises as well uh, in Vihasa workshops. This is one of the service fields where I'm involved very actively with the values in healthcare, a spiritual approach program, which is one of the founder programs of Janki Foundation from UK. Janki Foundation is basically a charity, a UK-based charity in London per se, and Dadi Janki was instrumental for beginning this. So in this, when we do a lot of exercises with new participants, whether it's Baba's children or non-BKs, either ways, we ask them to reflect on something. We don't ask you all to think on something. There's a difference between thinking and reflecting. So thinking, if I can put it, is more just on a very superficial level, whereas reflection is more on a deeper level. And if you're doing deep thinking at any point of time, in English, we also call it contemplation. So that is reflection. So I'll tell you, for example, reflect on an instance in your life where you had uh, faced a challenge and you came out very well out of it. So this is just not thinking, you're just not doing thinking, but you're going in a deeper level. So that is called reflection. And as I said, these four aspects, the silence, the stillness, the stability, and the solitude are very important for that. And as Baba's children now, we can always apply all these points, whatever we are discussing today, is to the Murlis, because our main aim of this, what you call the effort which we are doing, all of us, is to excel, is to understand what Baba is saying in the Murlis. So particularly Murli, I must say, is the storehouse of everything. And Murli teaches us how to reflect. So I must say, if there are many new people, I don't think many new people are there here in the 25 which we are sitting together here. But people who are new, I must say that you all should try to embark your life, the BK life, the spiritual lifestyle which you follow. The first foundation is Murli. Because unless and until I am able to pay a lot of attention to what Baba says in the Murli, my Brahman life is incomplete. Inculcation is still a very far off thing. The first thing is listening to the Murli. And the more and more I listen to the Murli, though at the start I'm not able to implement everything what Baba is saying, but it's a process. And I have to undergo the process. I have to start my journey at some point, because sometimes many souls, when they listen to the Murlis for the first time, particularly the Sakar ones, the Sakar, which I mean to say is Monday to Saturday, and which means it is being uh, said through the mouth of Brahma Baba before 1969, say from 1936 to 69. So those Murlis can be a bit difficult to understand in the beginning. But what is the proof that I am a deity soul? I remind this, I remind myself of this again and again, that when we conduct classes, the 7-day Rajyoga meditation for many new people, This is, I'm speaking about the pre-COVID times. And after that, when we ask them to come for Murli, they do come for the Murli, but quite a few souls don't enjoy the Murli and they have a lot of questions inside. And we obviously do address their questions to the extent we can address, and to the extent which my intellect is functioning, I'll be able to address. But finally, it is that soul's journey. And then we see sometimes a few souls, they say, oh, this Murli is very difficult to understand, particularly the Sakar ones I'm saying, not the Avyakt. And then they can't relate to that. And then it's a red alert for you that don't unnecessary, it's a very strong word when I'm using that, don't waste your time on such souls. I mean, obviously you can do all your effort to make them help understand if they are not able to understand anything in the Murli. But then looks like if that soul is still not able to understand what Baba is saying in the Murli, then probably that soul is not from the deity age. She's not from, he or she is not belonging to the Satyuga and Treta. I mean, that's fine. That soul is directly belonging from the copper age. She doesn't belong to the golden and the silver age. So that's fine. That's their part. And then it's their journey with Baba, but we don't need to break our heads on that. So remember, the first step is listening to the Murli. And when I say listening, it would be not only just listening to someone's Murli, but also reading it. Baba says that there are two things, Sunna and Sunana. You have to listen and also may be able to uh, tell people about that. Not only a points, but you have to inculcate those points. So as I said, inculcation takes a bit of time. Don't worry, you have just started your journey, but start listening, because it is like the corollary which is given here is, my mind is full of negative waste thoughts. It's a lot of kachra, I must say, a lot of waste inside. But as gradually Baba's knowledge, if I keep listening to on a regular basis and daily at a particular time, or maybe once or twice, whatever you're comfortable with and you can find time for conveniently. As I keep doing that, my waste and my negative will start gradually dissolving. This you can compare to a bucket of water which is full of dirt and mud. And how will you remove it? And how will you remove the waste from it? So many people say they splash the water outside. It's not very easier said than done. I can't remove all my negativity and waste. But a good way is to just open the tap of the water, maybe a just small stream of it as well, and let that seep inside me. And then gradually all the mud will settle in and the wastewater will go out, and gradually um, my entire system inside will start sort of saturating with Baba's elevated versions. So reflection helps a lot in that. Now, if I want to say in Hindi, what is the exact translation of reflection? Reflection is an English word. You all know it very well. You all can start typing in your chat in the chat box as well if you want. But there are two beautiful words. It's Manan and Chintan. So again, we'll see this entire journey from Manan, Chintan, then we go to Manthan, and then we go to Makhan. So I'll tell you what these words are, though I've said it in Hindi. So when we say Manan and Chintan, so I can see a few words coming as well in the chat box about Avlokan. True, sure. But let me just start with Manan. And the word itself tells you Manan. Manan means something to do with the mind. So your mind is constantly doing something. So if I listen to the Murli, some sentences go in and I start thinking about that. That's just the first step, Manan. And second is Chintan. I really don't know what's the exact word of Chintan in English, but if I would want to say that, uh, as I would say that the levels, first is superficial level and second is a deep level. So when I start listening and I start thinking on a superficial level, is Manan has started. Whereas the second level is, oh, I can see all your words coming in, fantastic words, what you all are saying. So the second one is the deep level, is when like I start experiencing that. So let me give you an example, because I don't want to sound it very theoretical here. So when Baba says that in the Murlis, this is a very common sentence which comes many times in every Murli. And that's the reason many children, Baba's children, say, "Oh, Murli, it's the same old thing which Baba says." You have to understand why Baba is saying the same old thing. So I'll tell you one example. Baba says, "My dear child, consider yourself to be a soul and remember me only." Many times this word comes. And then many people very casually, Brahmins very casually say, "Oh, it's okay, we have missed Man Murli. What big deal is it?" Baba keeps saying the same thing. No, we have to understand that he is the supreme teacher who's taking out time and coming to tell us this again and again. There is some reason. Why is he saying it so many times? Why is he trying to hammer it on me so many times? Though I know I am a soul and I have to remember Baba, but honestly, all of us have to put hands on our heart and check, are we really being in that soul conscious state? How many minutes in a day? Forget hours. I'm not even speaking about hours. How many minutes in a day can we really practice that? Also, when we sit in meditation for say 5-10 minutes at one stretch of a time, in that 10 minutes, how much is it that, how many seconds I am in that true soul conscious? So that's the reason Baba hammers that. So when I listen to that word, consider yourself to be a soul, my manan has started. Baba has stimulated my mind and I have started thinking. And Chintan is when I start taking that point and I start putting my thoughts into that. And here comes like that what Ramesh Bhai was saying, check, correct, and change, all these three C's. So then I check, am I a soul? Yes, I am a soul. It's not a theoretical point anymore. I am a soul. It's a practical experience. And then what type of soul I am? I am a peaceful soul. So when I start going on these levels, then it is my Chintan has started. So you see, when you move from Manan to Chintan, it's a process of reflection. But first is think that I am a soul, that is a superficial thinking. And when you reflect and contemplate, you're going on a deeper level. And once you start doing that, then you go into what is called third process. So this is just one point from the Murli which I have taken. If I take such multiple points from the Murli, then my journey starts towards Manthan. And Manthan means exactly in English, it's called churning. So we always say churn the Murli. We don't say any other word, it is churning. So Manthan is a process in Hindi. I must give you this example here. It's we call chach in Hindi, but buttermilk. That's a perfect English word. I'm sure many people in the South know this. It's called buttermilk. It's dahi, that is the curd which you sort of dissolve in water, churn it. And when I say churning, it means the motion of that instrument which is used for churning is back and forth, back and forth. So when I keep doing it back and forth inside of all these Murli points which Baba is saying, there are many ways to churn Murli. So let me give you a few examples that it reminds me here of a very one of the seniors in our organization, Didi Manmohini. You know, she is one of the perfect souls, I must say. She has been instrumental in giving form to the Murli, the versions which Baba has spoken to what we read it today. Today's versions which we have, they are very well categorized. We have the essence of the Murli, that is the title, whether it's Sakar or Avyak, immaterial. I'm speaking of the Sakar Murli first, which happens more on a regular basis, Monday to Saturday, which I'm sure all of you are listening to because in these Avyak Murli versions, we just revise daily Avyak Murlis. Yeah, thank you for your responses, the ones who are saying yes. So in that, we have a question and answer. Followed by that, we have a song which was played. Then the entire content of the Murli, which goes almost 3.5 pages. Then it's the what we call dharna, which is essence of how to inculcate that. Again, I remember reading the English Murlis, it is mentioned essence for dharna. Again, dharna is an inculcation. As I said, I'll come to that later. That's the last step, which is related to action. So after that, they don't write essence for inculcation. They still use the word dharna, because dharna is also a beautiful Hindi word. We'll cover that later. And after that, in the end, you have the blessing or the vardhan. Then Baba just not, he just doesn't give you the blessing only. He tells you the entire method, the vidhi se siddhi, as we say. He explains you how to get that vardhan or blessing into your life, how to implement it. And finally, there's a slogan. So all these things which we see in the current scenario of the Murlis which we read is all Didi Manmohini's blessing. And Didi Manmohini, a fantastic soul, such an intelligent churner of knowledge. And she used to say, many people would be knowing, she used to say, immediately when the Murli was over, they used to go and sit in the chamber. Chamber is a place where Brahma Baba used to do his official things with people, his official meetings. It was just a very small room, nothing really very flamboyant about that. And there Didi Manmohini used to go and sit, and she used to call the few Brahmins, and she used to say, come and let's play what? Badminton. So she used to ask them a few points, and she used to tell them that answer the points answer the questions in relation to points from today's Murli. So if like the Matajis, the old mothers, so they used to say, what did Baba say today? It reminds me, she used to say that. So the old mothers used to say, Baba said, oh, remember yourself or consider yourself to be a soul and remember me. So that's fine. That will always be there in the Murli. But what is special? In what context did Baba specially say something today for me? So this way, she was the one who was instrumental in giving shape to this. And one of her most obedient students was Raju Bhai. And all of you know that dear Raju Bhai is the in charge of the Murli department. And he is the one who is instrumental. Obviously, it's not Raju Bhai's Murli, neither is it Manmohini Didi's Murli. It is Murli of the Supreme Being, Shiv Baba. And obviously, they are just giving it a little bit of formatting, a little bit of correcting. Like Raju Bhai will try to set it. If tomorrow is Diwali, the Diwali Murli will come in front of you. If it's Holi, the Holi Murli will come to you. So something like that. So you can imagine what sort of people we have in the Yagya. And let me go back before Didi Manmohini, it's Brahma Baba and Mama. So let me come to Brahma Baba first. Brahma Baba, an elevated soul. I mean, since last 1 or 2 weeks, last 1 week particularly, Murlis are coming, the Sakar Murlis, whereby Shiv Baba says, don't merely think that this Brahma is also just a student like all of you. Obviously, yes, he's a student. He's also an effort maker, no doubt, but he's the number one student. And how did Shiv Baba select Brahma Baba's chariot to come into him and use his mouth or use him to spread the knowledge? It is because this soul has worked a lot on him. And if you remember, many seniors in the Yagya share this, that even before 1936, why do I say 1936 all the time? That's the time when Shiv Baba, it was his, what we call the divine incarnation into Brahma Baba. So before that, this chariot was really being prepared. And I don't know exactly how many years, but at least a few years from 34, 35 onwards, Brahma Baba was always in a mode of being very silent and in solitude. And another thing which reminds me with solitude is introversion, introvertness, which means he used to spend a lot of time by himself and practicing this consciousness of I am a soul. Hmm? I mean, I am my Atma hu. And this he used to apply it not only for himself, but because what happens is I am a soul, that's fine. But the moment I'm at my house and the moment I get out of meditation, I'm surrounded by many relatives around, my mother, father, my husband, wife, so on and so forth, my children, so on. And then these relationships can pull you into the body consciousness. And that's what Brahma Baba did. Even before Baba came into Shiv Baba entered his body, incarnated in him, Brahma Baba used to write down over there that Radhika, that was his daughter-in-law. Radhika is a soul. That was Brijendra Dadi. All of you know, the ones who are from Mumbai. Then second, Yashoda. Yashoda was his wife actually. So Yashoda is also a soul. And he had many diaries, which we heard about, that he had filled diaries writing down these things. So this soul has done a lot of work. And this is what I must say, reflection on a deeper level. When you're trying to situate yourself in that soul consciousness and experience the sweetness of this soul consciousness. All of you agree, when we are in that brief 1 or 2 minutes of soul consciousness in meditation, it's such a sweet feeling. You start feeling so light, so relaxed, so calm and cool, right? And another soul which comes in front of me is Mama. After Baba, it's Mama. That is our dear Mama. All of you know Mama very well. You heard a few days ago, I think it was exactly 2 days ago, Mama's Murli was there. See, when we say Murli, it's only either Shiv Baba speaking through Brahma Baba, that's the Murli, Sakar and Avyakt. And second, we say Mama's Murli. No other person we say Murli. It's only Mama and Baba. Why? Because I think Mama was next to God. Mama was actually, though Brahma Baba was the first student, but Shiv Baba says that Mama even went one step ahead of Brahma Baba, because Mama was a person who never got any visions. She never got anything into the yagya, no wealth at all. She never had any sakshatkar, any vision. But she was the number one student because she used to churn the knowledge in such a way that she really used to get the butter out of the buttermilk. And if you heard the last extract 2 days ago in the Sakar Murli, it was written Mama Mateshwari ji's Mahavakya, Mama's Murli. So Mama used to take one point and just go in the depth of it. And why was she able to go in the depth of that? Because she used to apply that in her life, in her daily dealings with people, in her action and interaction with others. So coming to this point of buttermilk, suddenly I went away from buttermilk into Didi Manmohini, Mama and Brahma Baba. So coming back to buttermilk, why is it called buttermilk? Because it is basically that whatever buttermilk you have, the ingredients are of butter and milk. But what you see in front of you is basically a different form of it. And then once you start churning so much in looking at the physical buttermilk, I'm speaking about the physical buttermilk now here. So when you keep churning it over a period of time, what separates? The butter comes out from that and the water separates. And then truly the butter comes out. And when we say butter, its literal meaning is makhan. So jitna, in Hindi we say jitna manthan karenge, utna makhan niklega. And when we say makhan or butter, it means something which is a very pure thing and something which is very powerful. Mm. Purity is a power, all of us know that. So if we eat butter, makhan, it makes you feel Shaktishali, right? It makes you feel very strong physically. So it reminds me here of Makhan Mani. Makhan Mani again is a Sindhi word. Sorry, I'm going there, but I'll try to explain you what that is. So, I mean, it's very easy. As mothers, many mothers I can see in the audience here. So, mothers, when you have young children, you give them makhan mani, don't you? Makhan is butter, mani is the chapati, the roti, what we say. In Sindhi, it is called mani. So, a young child, we say that you give him roti along with a piece of butter on that. And to add, to make the icing on the cake, we can also put some sugar in it. So that makes it really very sweet and nice. So this is what Dadi Prakashmani used to do. At some point of time, I remember that for all the Madhuban Nivasis, on and off in between, Raju Bhai keeps sharing this, that when she used to see that the Brahmins have, particularly the Pandavas, the brothers, have done a lot of heavy work and they are quite exhausted and tired. So Dadi used to say, "Come, aaj makhan mani khayenge," which means she used to give them rotis. Bholi Dadi, who was the kitchen head, I'm sure all of you know, she was the one who was involved in preparing the meals. So she used to tell Bholi Dadi, get garam garam rotis and a little bit of, very little, because you have to serve say 40, 50 brothers. You can't give a lot of butter to each one. So a little bit of it just to smear it on the chapati and this way. So this way these are the days of the yagya, the good olden days, I must say, good olden and the golden days, whereby the dadis used to really give so much of sustenance in this way to all the brothers and sisters in the yagya. So when we coming to the next is about manthan. If I keep doing this manthan on a regular basis, it is only then can I get this makhan, and then it will make me feel very empowered. So this is the process about reflection. And the second point, which today is in the topic is mentioned, though Rakhi Bhen told me introspection, but it's inspection. But nevertheless, both the words are very similar. So as we start our journey towards thinking what Baba is saying in the Murli, listening to those, experiencing those, then churning on those points and becoming powerful with all that. At the same time, we need, as we are constantly saying, check and change, check and change. So we need to change as well, because merely checking is not enough. As Baba said, I think a week ago in one of the Murlis, yeah, it was the Sunday Murli, the last Sunday Murli, I remember. It was checker and maker. So Baba says, be a checker and be a maker. Now, checking who? Checking self. To this, Baba also says that children are very smart. They become their own vakils, lawyers, and they become justice for others, which means judges for others. So we don't have to do that. We don't have to constantly keep proving your point as a lawyer and apply a statement or a justice for someone else. No. So you have to check yourself, see where I am today, where was my journey a few days ago, a few months ago, and start working on that. And Baba also says in this respect or regard that children wear glasses, but they are, I mean, the near vision and the far vision, or the sight, the near sight, the near vision is very poor, but the far sight or the vision of the far is quite good, which means I'm not able to look at my weaknesses, but I'm able to look at people's weaknesses. And this again takes me into the Murlis where, for example, in the morning when we are listening to Murli and some point comes, uh, some point which hits me quite strongly, and then immediately a thought comes, oh yeah, see, this brother should be listening to that Murli because this point is for him. No, that's totally wrong, because I'm not sitting here to listen to the Murli so that I can keep churning about who this point is apt for. Absolutely not right. So all the points, because something has happened, some thing has happened in the sense, some sanskar clash has happened, some choo choo cha cha, I like to call, like something has happened. When there are two vessels, there'll obviously be a lot of noise. So something has happened with that brother, and I say, oh, see, this point has come, and I hope that brother should listen to this Murli today, and this point should hit him. And I can go to the extent where after the Murli is over, I'll pick up the phone and call him and tell him, see, today Baba has mentioned this point for you. Oh my God, that's completely a big Vikaram which I'm doing. No, I can't do that because I am not such a big Sampurna soul, a complete and perfect soul. All these points are for me. And as someone said, when we point one finger outside, three or four fingers are pointing towards me. So I need to look at myself. And it reminds me today is 2nd October. All of you know 2nd October, it's, I mean, if you remember the logic wise, it's Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. So a soul full of truth and non-violence. And Baba has given us a totally new meaning of non-violence. I'm sure all of you know that very well. When I have this, forget about the vices of lust and even also hitting someone. Those are the two ways which Baba says. We'll go on a more subtle and deeper level. If being a Brahmin soul, if I'm still very stressed, if I still have negative thoughts, or forget negative, even if I have just waste and ordinary thoughts about the outside world, it's like being violent towards the self, because my mind is then not my friend. It has become one of my worst enemy then. You know, in Hindi, there are a lot of sayings or expressions about the mind, that your mind is your best friend, but can be your worst enemy as well. So if I'm still listening to the Murli, but I still am stressed with something or the other, Let us just stop doing that violence on our mind, because the mind hurts, and all of you are aware that somehow or the other we just get hurt from someone's comments outside, and now we are not really hurt by the Lokik people outside. We are hurt more by the alokik ones, right? Am I right? All of you would agree. Like something happens in seva, someone something said something to me, and I took that one point and I started a big commentary inside. No, I can't be doing that because I'm just disturbing my state of mind. That soul said something to me. That's fine. That is his or her perspective. But why do I take that one point and just go on and on inside? Because I'm hurting myself. So this is the second where we need to do inspection and introspection. Now, when these two words are beautiful words, inspection, again, both these words start with in. In means I have to go inside. It's not for outside. I don't have to inspect others. I have to just inspect inside. Look at me from inside. And if you use the word introspection, that is much more deeper, because the word itself tells you what's the meaning. Spection means to see, and intro means introduction. So, what is my introduction now? I have got that I am a soul. So, I go into this soul conscious mode and check myself. That is called introspection. So, see, that's what one beautiful thing which I like about Murli's and Baba is that Baba tells us so many points. Nowhere in any other satsangs, when we say satsang is all the other parts of devotion where other people or other spiritual organizations, with due respect to them, but uh, at any other place, I haven't found such depth of knowledge, which is, first of all, it's the supreme being at Brahma Kumaris who's telling all of this to us. It is not any dehadhari, not any bodily figure. And the supreme soul, he takes us in such it's wonder, it's amazed that how he takes us into the depths of all these things which are going on. And all of you agree that when we are disturbed and we come for the murli, whatever point has been bothering us from inside, we get an immediate solution there and then in the murli itself. Isn't it so amazing? So this is the beauty of the murlis, and the more we can keep doing that, whereby listen to the murli in the soul conscious state. So here it reminds me that how can we develop this soul conscious state? Forget for the entire day, but when we come to the say center and listen to the Murli, we should not come right at that point of time when Murli is beginning. Or some people even come, some Brahmins even come when the Murli has started. Imagine when you're going to school as a student, will you go on time or before time or after the lecture has started? Obviously, we know what happens when a student comes when the lecture has already started. It's a very awful feeling. We don't like it. Or sometimes you're not even allowed to come inside. You are said, please wait outside because you have come late. Again, not dot on time, but before time is the best. So same thing, Baba says that in order to set your stage, the soul conscious state, so that you are receptive to the points in Murli, you should at least practice minimum 10 to 15 minutes of meditation before we begin to listen to the Murli. And that's a practice which is there in all the centers and everywhere worldwide. Because sometimes we nowadays are so hurried and we just be on the Zoom or just walking and talking, or just on the drive, we are listening to the Murli. No, it's not, it's fine. It's better, better than nothing. At least we are listening to the Murli. But if I need to prepare my stage and I need to make the soul receptive, I need to really sit in meditation, because only when I do this, as I said, the stillness, the stability, the silence, and one more which was there, I forget. When we do all these four in meditation, we are able to do that, and solitude. So when we do all this, then can the soul be receptive to whatever points Baba is saying. So I can see the clock ticking 5:41. So maybe I should just stop. In the next couple of minutes, and then we can take your questions. So today's topic is all about, as I said, we went into the details of what is reflection, difference between superficial and deep thinking, the entire process starting from Manan. So we're just revising what we spoke, what I have shared so far. The Manan Chintan, starting with that, then you go into the Manthan stage, and then finally you get the makhan. And yeah, I forgot that Baba says that when you keep doing this manthan and then you are getting the makhan, then you go into the magan. Another Hindi word, magan stage means you're just intoxicated. All of us experience, particularly you in the English Avyak Murli Club here. When you read these Avyak Murlis daily from 5 to 6 in the morning, see your stage, how it is. You're so intoxicated. You're as if cut off from the entire physical outside world because your mind and intellect both are intoxicated with Baba's knowledge and you just like it so much, right? So that's the last stage of Magan. So if I can really sort of replicate this on a daily basis, if I can do it at 5 to 6 a.m., why not let me, after a few hours, find out 5 to 10 minutes to be in this stage of Magan? And that can only happen when I'm connected to Baba. And connection to Baba is just not plain, oh, I'm a soul, I remember Baba. That's not it. To make my yoga powerful as well, I need to revise a few points during that time. Like, I'm a peaceful soul. So, on my peace, I need to churn inside to keep that connection going strong. Because it's good. I say one point, I'm connected, that's fine for a few seconds. But again, my mind starts wandering here and there. And therefore, in yoga, we don't have that constancy and permanency. So, if I need to be constant, which Baba likes the word sada, nirantar and sada, always, then I need to really keep churning insight on that. For example, I am a peaceful soul. What are the advantages of peace? I visualize something peaceful. I visualize Param Dham, so on and so forth, each to his own. So I need to keep doing that. Little bit of churning inside of points to make my connection more strong and feel the Magan Avastha. Magan means being intoxicated and really a highly elevated stage, I must say. So yeah, I can see quite a few responses in your chat box of a lot of beautiful words which you all are saying, that we have many blind spots and yes, we need to work on that, not trying to put fingers to others. I need to mind my business. Many things have been said here. Girija Behan is saying, I know Girija Behan, I think very well. So saying, yeah, I forget this, beautifully said, that churning like the cow. The cow chews the cud, right? You take the graze and the chow, that's a process of rumination. So, they have two stomachs. The cows have two stomachs. In one stomach, they just hurriedly eat everything. And then in the second stomach, they go and ruminate, whereby this is called in Hindi ugarna. So it is sort of all that graze which has been taken, the cud, it is then taken into that small other pouch and then it is ruminated over there. This is very typically for cows and buffaloes. It is not for other animals. So Baba says you should be listening to the Murli, hurriedly take the points inside and then go and ruminate on them. And it is only that then finally, as we say in the end, I would just end by saying this, that whenever we eat food, that food is not a source of energy that time, but only when that food has been digested, that the macronutrients, the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats have been absorbed into the blood, then can it be an energy for the body. And when I say energy, it means it finally goes into the bloodstream. So same thing, when I'm listening to Murli points, I'm able to find churn on them, but I have to really go in the depths of that point, experience that, let that become a part of my system. When I say that, which means that is the inculcation point, the final point. So sometimes people take out a lot of points and I can give a good lecture on many points, which I do also many times, but that is of no use as far as if I'm not able to implement that in my life. So people will know me from my actions, not from my words. Therefore, it is said actions speak louder than words. And today's last point, which is about reflection, inspection, and finally action. So if I am not able to change the way I behave with people, my actions and interactions with people, that is called dharna. So that points becoming an embodiment, I becoming an embodiment of them, they coming into my life practice. Unless I'm able to do that, it's not really worth it, because as I said, people will say that yes, you have done a good lecture, but I'm not there for lectures. I'm here, there, I am Baba's student, all of us. and we are there, people should see our lives. The change in our lives should be evident. All of you all have said beautiful three words: churn and earn. That knowledge should be translated to wisdom, and walk the talk, a beautiful expression of saying it that way. Like, I should be able to put it into my being, because Baba says, आप लोग चलते फिरते म्यूजियम हो. सेवा कैसे होगी? It will happen through your actions, not through your words. So I think with this, I would like to stop now. Too much of, I think, words. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity once again. It's always, I think, my part in the drama is achanak, ever ready. Like, it's suddenly Rakhi Behan calls me, and then I just say yes, because it's lovely when we can churn on things and able to share with each other. Okay, so I'll stop here. Om Shanti.
Let's take a moment to reflect on the learnings and then open up to share what are we getting out of this session. And if there are any questions, then you can ask Manoj Bhai, and he shall attempt to answer that as well. Okay, whoever would like to share something can unmute yourself.
Om Shanti, brother Manoj Bhai. The point which really you have made me relearn today is ekant. You know, I always used to go deep in this word solitude. And I found the word solitude, when left on its own, is beautiful. Why, I shall tell you. I find if I am in solitude, am I doing something positive with myself? Am I really reconstructing myself? Or what do I get? That, as you said, that churning way, what do I get out of it? And solitude can be for anything. If I would just like to go deep on an event which has happened, I would like to sit away from everything, away from this, and go deep into it, find out, reflect, then I'll be able to get a better answer. So I found that solitude. And whenever the word solitude comes, I can think of only one thing in my life which I learned when I was small, was Wordsworth's Daffodils. How he went in solitude and he could enjoy the bliss of the daffodils. That's the Magan. And for me, when you said ek ant, and today you mentioned that eke ant me, going in the depth of one. So that I took it, going in the depth of Baba. Go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in that ocean, have a shower, it's a beautiful emotion, like bliss, what I call it, as you have magnified my emotion about this. And I think I would like to really enjoy that solitude. But that word which I don't like in solitude is, I am not a solitude person. I never want to be alone. So I would like to take solitude on its own and find out what is that ek ke ant. Is there an ant in that ache, or it goes on and goes on and goes on like Paramita? That is really behind my mind. Thank you very much, Manoj.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Brother, I have a question about some, I don't know whether we should be calling them contradictions, but certain points that keep appearing in the Murli, right? Like sometimes Baba says that Gyan is not your auntie's, Masi ka ghar nahi hai. And sometimes, not exactly in Baba's words, but it is mentioned that it is, we who are to reach it everywhere. So this is one example. Then there are other examples also of foods that Baba mentions, right? Like he talks about pure foods. And then in some other murlis, he's mentioned that there are exemptions given in extremely situations where, souls are in the army. So sometimes the question that I want to ask you is, I'm not sure which one, where I am supposed to be fitting in, whether what I am taking in is what Baba says or intends, or is it some thoughts created by this mind. Uh, did I make the question clear enough?
Uh, Not really, but I can just understand probably what you're trying to ask. So Baba says points differently at different points of time. So we need to understand that Baba is the sagar, the ocean. And as the if you go around the seashore, as you were typing before as well, on the seashore, when you go, the waves come and go, come and go. And same thing is Baba. Baba keeps telling us so many points, and we have to take it in the right perspective. So we sometimes it becomes that we go in too much of that questions, that why did Baba say this today and why did he say this that day. We don't need to go in the whys of that. We just listen to what Baba is saying. Let me just elevate my state of mind. If I'm enjoying the Murli and if my state of mind is fine, I don't need to go in this, that why Baba says this sometimes and says that. So I think something you spoke about, the army people, the army men, that so Baba's Shrimat is always in the Murlis, whatever we say is Shrimat. So Baba's Shrimat is different for different people. Now, when I say this, I am trying to give you an example here because you said the word about army men. So when Baba says that the personnel, the brothers who work in the army, the Shrimat for them is that yes, they can take the meals from outside, but in Baba's remembrance, because they are limited. They can't go and cook there as we can do at homes ourselves, because they are not free all the time. And if they don't eat over there at the job, probably they may lose the job as well. So this is only specific for them, that you have to eat in the remembrance of God. It is for them. But this doesn't apply to, then we'll say, oh, see, Baba said today this point, so I can go and sort of eat outside, but just in Baba's remembrance. No. So Baba's Srimat is different for different points of time. I hope I have understood it that. So yeah, and I just need to work on my stage. How is my stage? How am I feeling? I don't need to worry about why Baba said this today and why Baba. And Baba will keep saying differently. Another point reminded me, I was discussing a few days ago, that sometimes Baba says that Brahma and this point is about, yeah, Brahma and Vishnu. I think it was 2 days ago. Baba said that I don't know exactly what it was, but it was a little bit contradictory. It was Brahma so Vishnu, Vishnu so Brahma, Baba says. But then Baba said that, yeah, it's Brahma Baba is the only one soul who obviously becomes Vishnu. Yeah, but Brahma Baba's births are 84. We never say Vishnu's births are 84. That was 2 days ago in the Murli, it was said. So don't try to really be fixated on, oh, why Baba said it so differently. These are just different ways of Baba, just because he's an ocean. So he can play around with words, he can play around with points. The point which Baba was trying to make here, that Brahma Baba's births are 84. We never say Shankar's births are 84, and even we don't say Vishnu's births are 84. Why? Because Brahma is the first birth of confluence age. It is from there that the cycle starts, whereas Vishnu is just the second birth after the Brahmin birth. So therefore, this tries to prove, which Baba says, that Brahmins are elevated than the deities. Brahmins are much more higher than the deities. So it is just, as far as we are able to enjoy the Murli, go in the depths of it, as you also said that you love the Murlis anyway, I think that should be fine. That is more, it's like all is well that ends well. I must try to sum it that way. Okay. Yeah, I think Om, you can, yeah, you have raised your hand. Yeah.
Om Shanti. I would like to just give more one more just input on this question which was asked. In the Murlis, Baba actually is addressing all the souls at various stages, which you also hinted at. Baba says, Rajdhani Sthapan ho rahi hai. So in the Rajdhani, in a kingdom, there is a Vishwa Maharajan, there is a Maharajan, then Rajan, then there is a Praja, then the Praja ka Das Dasi and Das Dasi ka bhi Das Dasi. So all sorts of stages of soul is being created, and everybody is listening to the same Murli. So Baba, and it is up to the stage of the soul which decides which dharana he or she that soul is picking up. So I think we should see ki automatically soul picks up that message. Baba in the same Murli will say ki okay, this is okay. You can take some kind of bread and all that also. But then uh, just before that, Baba will say no, it has to be absolutely pure. So it depends on stage of the soul, which one that soul will pick up, because Rajdhani Sthapan ho rahi hai. I think I had to put it that way. Om Shant.
Yeah, so very rightly said. It's like it's the entire Rajdhani, which means it's the entire royal family along with the entire team which is getting built here. And everyone's position is number wise. That's what Baba says. So the way we listen to and also inculcate things is also number wise. So very true. So it's getting 6 now. Any other
I guess,
turn?
Manoj, maybe we should do a short reflecting meditation.
Okay, fine. So let me just share some soft music for you all as well. And so I hope it's not very loud. It's okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, thanks. So let's sit back. Take a deep breath in and out and relax yourself. Look at yourself, the conscient being that you are, the pure soul, the light. And the moment you start looking at that, you start feeling very light and relaxed. And see what Baba has to offer me. From every Murli, from every Srimat. Baba is working on me. It's work in progress. He's trying to make me that flawless diamond which I am already. But I have forgotten over a period of time. All of us are on this beautiful journey. of being converted into deities from simple humans. It's a journey with ups and downs, but eventually I will be there. I shall reach my destination. But let me constantly apply these spiritual tools of reflection and introspection constantly. And I have to apply them on me only, not for anyone else. The more I start seeing myself in the image which Baba wants me to be, the more I can progress and achieve that. Because finally my aim is to become Bab Saman, equal to the Father. With this beautiful thought, daily let me begin my day with lot of zeal and enthusiasm for myself, with lot of happiness and contentment in my Brahman life, and live my each day and each moment trying to apply the soul consciousness vision in everything what I do. And then see how Baba works magic through me. Because Baba, the Supreme Soul, wants to use those souls who are capable of translating His work. And it's an immense fortune for each one of us to be able to do some or the other service which Baba wants us to do. So with this beautiful thought, let's enjoy today's Avyak Murli later, Sunday. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Manoj Bhai, for
Thank
being
you.
ever ready and for a beautiful session. See you all tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you, brothers. Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you, Manoj bhai.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.